Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Coffee with the Principal. I am your host, Principal Matt Carafa. I am here today at Channel 6 Studios in beautiful Armada, Michigan. Once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Adam Rickert, the voice of Memphis. Mr. Rickert, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay, hanging in there, getting a little bored, not being able to go to work, see my kids, watch any sports. Before we get started, though, I do want to clarify something. This is a Memphis baseball hat. I would never be caught wearing a hat from that school in Ann Arbor that we're not going to talk about. So
Really?
Never, no.
I'm glad you clarified that, although I do recognize that hat. Our Memphis team wears that block M with pride every spring season. And we'll get into that. We'll get into the outlook for the spring season and some other news around the Hive coming up here today on the special edition of Coffee with the Principal. So as you know, as of right now, the schools are being closed until April 6th. Mr. Rickert, and of course, we have heard other varying tales of how long it could be, but we know right now for sure April 6th is when we're coming back, correct?
Yeah, April 6th is the day. Hopefully everything gets resolved by then, and we'll see what happens. But as of now, that's when we're slated to come back. So keep your eyes on the news for any changes in that.
That's right. I'm sure there'll be changes. Superintendent Goodme is updating the community as soon as he gets news, and then we try to relay it out to everybody else as soon as we can. And of course, if Coffee with the Principal is on air, when we get some breaking news, we'll let you know right away. A couple of things I did want to point out to our parents and students watching today in the community. We do have a resource page on the Memphis junior high school, senior high school website for you to look at. The resource page has some suggested materials from all of our teachers at the high school and junior high school. It's stuff that students can work on to keep their brains sharp during the shutdown. And, you know, we're going to be updating that weekly as well. So please check back. It's on not only the Memphis high school page at memphisk12.org, but also our Facebook page and the Twitter. And the elementary school also has their resources there as well from all their teachers. So the community schools, Memphis community schools, we have resources out there for students and families, correct, sir?
Lots of them. And even if you want to do something extra with your kids, or if you're a student who's really looking forward to keeping that education process going during this break, Khan Academy, a great site. Yes, you can do a lot of exercises, keep your brain sharp. I know some of my first semester typing students from middle school, computer students, will they can go on practice their typing skills. Mm-hmm. You're going to need that a lot in high school. Now that I'm teaching in high school, a lot of you guys were asking me back then, when am I going to need to type fast? Well, your essays have due dates and you get time to work in class. The faster you type, the quicker you get those essays done. So I know you guys like typing.com and Nitro Type. Be sure to play those as much as you can over break if you're a middle school or even a high school student that wants to improve your typing speed.
Yeah, that's very important stuff. Just stay sharp. And in a little bit, we'll bring in our special guest. We'll talk about some other things you can do to stay active and stay sharp during the shutdown. But Mr. Rickert, let's talk quickly about sports. Sports are on hiatus right now. Memphis basketball just came off a huge victory in the district tournament. And then we got the news that things were shut down. Have you talked to Mr. Oki? Have you talked to the athletes? How are they holding up in this time when we're off, when they can't compete?
Well, I'm one of the coaches for the junior varsity baseball team, and we've been Coach Claire has been doing a really good job sending out workouts every day to our kids because, as Mr. Oki actually told me yesterday, the MHSAA is still planning on getting these sports schedules up and going. The winter sports playoffs are going to continue. So for Memphis, it means boys basketball. And then as soon as those end, they want to get spring sports started. It might be a little later on in the year than expected, but at the same time, that's the plan right now. They said they have every intention of completing the season. So, hey, boys basketball players, your season might not be over. Go play some basketball in the driveway, do some workouts. Keep making Memphis proud the way that you have been all year.
Yeah.
So.
And then our spring sports, as you mentioned, baseball, our softball teams, our track teams. What are some ways they can stay I guess competitive or stay in shape over this shutdown? You got any ideas for them out there?
Well, there are always lots of ways to stay active. There's no ban against going outside. It is one thing that has helped me a lot this break. So even if you want to take a jog around the block or ride your bike, that's stuff that you can still do. Just be sure you're maintaining the proper social distancing from everybody.
That's right. We've got
things
a proper
like that.
space between us today, do we not?
We
Yep.
do.
We made sure Officer Gunnery made sure he measured us out earlier to make sure we were the right distance away from each other. So that's big stuff. Other things going on around the Hive, our food service, led by Miss Laura Nicholson, have been working extra hard to deliver food to our students in need throughout the community. I know we've seen some pictures of that on the Facebook. Mr. Rickard, just some amazing stuff by some amazing people.
Oh, it's excellent. I'm really, really glad to be a part of this community. And it's not only this one, but a lot of schools in the area have been providing free meals to students who need it. And it just goes to show you how important education is. And school is a lot more than just learning. There's a lot of things that schools will do to look out for you.
You miss it. You don't realize it until it's not there, until you can't go to it, that you do miss it. And I do, wake up in the mornings and I think, okay, I'm ready to go to school. I'm in school mode. However, my school now is my desk in my office area at the house. And I bring out the computer and I start working that way. And it's a lot different. It's a different way of life, I guess, right now for all of us.
It is. What's been cracking me up is my cousin is a high school teacher over at Eisenhower in Utica. Okay. He's got 2 young sons.
Okay.
And he has been updating on Facebook every day. He's teaching them their lessons. And like yesterday he posted, one of them, I think he's 6 years old, one of them. And he had, there was a picture yesterday of him working on his homework with his shirt off. And my cousin posted, our first dress code violation.
Oh, yes, that's a violation. That is definitely a violation.
Yes.
Not only that, Laura Nicholson, like I said, and the food service staff, but also Mr. Kujat is out there delivering meals. So again, it's a team effort. Also, our custodial crew is working extra hard, deep cleaning both buildings, our central office building, all of them getting some deep cleanings out there. That's the important thing, right?
Very important.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about that soon with Miss Officer Gunnery. And then I just wanted to go over a couple of brief cancellations. I think you already know by now, our talent show was canceled. We're looking to reschedule that one maybe towards the end of the school year. We'll see what happens. Also, our school parent-teacher conferences were canceled, and we are looking to also hold those again once we get back to school at some point, so stay tuned on those. Our sports awards for the winter sports season also again postponed. Again, the season's not over, so we're still not sure what we want to do about that. And our SC4, there was an SC4 post-secondary conference at SC4, St. Clair County Community College. That has been canceled for the time being. Mr. Esch wanted to pass along that choir camp is postponed, and as of now, the Holocaust trip on April 7th, it is still on. However, if we're not in school, that will have to be postponed as well. So stay tuned for any words on those events.
So, Mr. K, I know you said you've been working from home on your computer. What else have you been doing to keep busy?
I have got back into the workout routine. That is a daily thing now for me. I wake up pretty early, usually when I wake up for school, and I read the paper a little bit, then I go down for a workout. I have a gym set up in the basement, so that kind of helps me out. Spending time with my kids and my wife. Work around the house. I got some painting to do. I've got a landing to build in the garage. So a lot of things to do around there to keep me busy. And then, of course, when it gets a little later in the afternoon, I've got a new subscription to Disney Plus.
There you go.
I don't know if you know about that.
I've got it. Yep.
Oh, amazing! We watched the Mandalorian series in a day.
I did too. I watched it in one night when it came out.
I don't know what Jon Favreau was thinking. He made an amazing show and put it on 30-minute episodes. 8 30-minute episodes. I was done with that in a night.
Oh yeah, easy.
Amazing stuff on that channel, Disney Plus. But also Netflix too. Netflix seems to be putting out new stuff every minute, and I don't even realize it. And I search through, and there's always something new to watch. I watched Spencer Confidential with Mark Wahlberg last night.
The Funky Bunch.
It was actually the Funky Bunch. You remember those guys?
Oh yeah.
Some great hits from back in the early '90s, I would say.
Oh yeah.
We watched that last night. It was another good movie. So
good. Yeah, I watched the other day. I watched What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Great movie. Wow,
it was okay. The acting was fantastic in it. The story I wasn't a huge fan of, but it was all right. But other than that, I've been. You guys are gonna laugh at me for all three of these things. But my brother and I, we're really missing March Madness. It's like Christmas for us. So we have organized a bracket of 68 teams that we put together. based on your bracketology online, things like that.
Based on this year's teams?
Yes.
Okay.
And we are playing we have a basketball hoop in the driveway, and we're playing games to go all the way. We've only done the play-in game so far because of the weather, but yeah. I've been playing a lot of Pac-Man. I have a
What do you guys play? Well, let's go back.
Sorry.
Let's go back. What do you guys play up to? What's the up to 10 by ones? 2?
We originally were going to play up to 24 because of Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
However, we are not very good, and and there's a lot of games to play. So like we kind of figured, okay, so we're either going to do we were kind of still toying around with it a little bit. We're either going to play up to 8 because that was his other number, or just do 8 minutes.
8.
Yeah.
8 or 8 minutes. I like that.
We got to get done with it. We got to get done with them quick because there's so many games.
Yeah, let's get that play-in game. Let's get that bracket out to the community so maybe we should all take part in that. Maybe through your Twitter or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I've tweeted it.
Oh, you have tweeted it out.
Yep.
Okay, well, look for Mr. Rickart's NCAA bracket on his Twitter. He's keeping busy with that. What else?
I've been playing a lot of Pac-Man. I got one of those old 80s Pac-Man machines in the basement. The old PlayStation 1. I got a Pac-Man game on there. Oh, yeah. Big Pac-Man guy.
But the PlayStation Pac-Man was 3D. It was kind of
weird.
Yeah, I remember.
But I love it. That was my whole childhood. Yeah. So it was, I'm also looking for frogs. It's the time of year. I love frogs. I know I haven't talked about that a whole lot, but if you can hear right now, this is the time of year that the chorus frogs come out. They're the first frogs every year when the ground freezes, and they're making a ton of noise.
Wow,
so
that's something. Hey, for our students at home, if you are looking for something to do in the science area, go out and look for frogs. Mr. Rickard, where are they going to find frogs in Memphis? Let's ask that.
Everywhere. They'll find. Yeah, it depends on the type of frog. Right now, chorus frogs are extremely tough to find. I've actually never found them based on their size because they hide under the leaves so well.
Wow.
Sound like they're right in front of you, and you can spend hours looking for. I know it's kind of lame, but I've done it, so it just interests me. Something I'm interested in.
How many frogs do you have at this time?
I don't own any.
Oh, you
frogs.
don't keep them. You just find them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Since you're admitting that, I'm going to admit something to you too. I am a big bird guy.
Okay.
And
I like birds.
I do have an app on my phone where I can cite if I do see a bird, I record the sightings. I have recorded a lot of birds lately, but one of my favorite finds was a Baltimore Oriole. I actually saw when I was up north in Bitely, Michigan recently. I saw a Baltimore Oriole, but also the blue jay is very elusive to me.
Really?
So whenever I see a blue jay, I try to spot it and I try to record it because it's very elusive to me. I can hear it, but I can never see that.
Those are two that they're always in my backyard.
Really?
Yes, and Orioles are my favorite ones. They only come a certain time of year because they fly south really early.
Yeah.
But we've got like an Oriole feeder, and they're there a lot. And then there's always blue jays up in the tree. So
I'm gonna have to stop by.
Maybe.
Have to stop by.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for our news section of Coffee with the Principal. We'll be right back with our special guest, Officer Gunnery.
Please welcome today's guest, Officer Sean Gunnery.
Well, thank you, Mr. Rickert. Welcome, Officer Gunnery. Thank you for coming back to the show. I know this is your third time out here on Coffee with the Principal. How have you been doing?
Not too bad. Just trying to wait out this situation here. It's unprecedented, obviously, and it's it can be stressful, but just trying to get through it.
I was thinking about recently your history. You've not only been a police officer, but you also have some history in the health and medical field, I guess you could say. What are some things out there you're noticing, you're seeing? I mean, maybe give me some stats, what's going on, and then tell us how we can prepare for and take care of ourselves in this time.
Well, I start out by saying there's a lot of misinformation out there. Do not, and I'm telling everyone out there, do not go to social media to find out the facts of this current situation, this coronavirus. Go to the CDC.org or Johns Hopkins University. Those are two very trusted websites, and you get accurate information on what is going on, the statistics and whatnot, and how to handle things. That's the first order of business. Just a couple quick stats. We had 110 cases in Michigan yesterday, and overnight that has leaped to 334 cases. Wow. And that, that might make your eyebrows go up, but they're doing more testing. So it was obvious the numbers were going to spike a little bit. Still nothing to panic about. Just got to be vigilant, wash your hands, social distancing, and limit the people that you expose yourself to. Because as a young person, and I hope a lot of our students watch this, they need to know that they may get this virus, it'll run through them, and then they're fine. But in the meantime, they expose their parents, their grandparents, their aunts or uncles. That's the problem. They're a carrier for it. Yeah. So you need to be very careful.
Let's go back to washing your hands. Can you give us an actual, and I know this sounds funny, but a step-by-step, how are we supposed to be doing this? I mean, you hear it all the time. How are you supposed to wash those hands? How long?
The word you always hear is vigorously, and that is what you need to do. Hot water, not cold water, lots of soap and lather, 20 seconds minimum. Really wash your hands all the way up to your wrists. Do not touch your face. Because it's such a natural thing to touch your face. I put my hand on this counter and I might rub my face. It's just you really got to be vigilant in that respect, because it's so easy to transfer this and get sick. You will get sick.
I'm a nail biter. So when I bite my nails, I've been doing very good at not doing that, but that was something that I had to really start to pay attention to.
Yeah, just normal habits that you got to stop.
Another thing my kids like to do. My kids like to say the ABCs twice while they're washing their hands. They say that's about 20 seconds, Dad. So they'll say their ABCs twice while they wash their hands, and that's usually pretty good for them.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Officer Gunnery, have you ever experienced anything like this before? I mean, is this anything that you ever thought would happen? I mean, just the way this is unfolding.
I mean, I think back, to 9/11 when we were attacked, and I was actually sitting in a firehouse, believe it or not, watching all that unfold, and I was actually on a list of firefighters that were going to travel to New York during the initial rescue phase. We didn't end up going, but that was an American situation. Sure. This is a global situation. Just about every country on our planet has been affected by this in some way or another. So I can say I've never seen anything to this level.
Yeah. Well, I know that our medical professionals are working hard out there. And again, you can do your part, as Officer Gunnery said, keep the hands washed, social distancing, stay at home. If you don't need to go out, stay at home. I know on a day like today especially, it's nice out. It's 65 degrees out there today. Beautiful day for March in Michigan, and everyone wants to get outside. Is that something that you recommend, getting outside for a breath of fresh air, as long as you're not wandering too far off the range there?
Absolutely, because if you're watching, you put the television on, it's hard not to see the word coronavirus and just constant coverage on it. And I don't want to use the phrase fear mongering, but they're just pounding it into your head over and over and over. And it might be good to turn on Netflix, watch an old movie, get outside. There's plenty of room outside that you're not going to be. This is not like Times Square, New York, where people are so packed together. There's plenty of places you can go for a nice walk, with a family member. Just get out of the house, clear your head, and just don't get overwhelmed by this coverage, because we will get through this.
Yeah. So that being said, what have you been up to? You have been at the school, so you got some time during the day. What have you been up to during this times?
Well, I heard you say to Adam, you're getting on the treadmill there. I've been doing the same, getting on the treadmill, trying to work on the the mid drift here. And just trying to keep, my head clear, because it's easy to get stressed out over the situation. But, we have some of the best medical personnel in the world working on this. Sure. So, we'll get through it. And Netflix, Golf Channel.
There you go.
Stuff like
that. No live sports, so that's killer.
No live sports is a killer. Unlike Adam, I love to watch my hockey. Was looking so forward to the baseball season getting underway, and everything is just delayed. So it'll all come back. It's just going to be a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, they say opening day for the Tigers mid-May, possibly.
It'll be here before you know it. So hopefully,
I hope so.
Hopefully it goes the way it should.
Officer Gunnery, I wanted to ask you. Last time you were on the show, we were talking about, and another thing to reiterate to our students and families watching is March is reading month. It's still March. Mm-hmm. We are talking about a book. I put you on the spot. Asked you what your favorite book was, and you were struggling a little bit to come up with one. Yeah. But you did over the hiatus over the last couple of weeks. Yeah. You did read something, or you did recall something that you were reading. Why don't you tell about your book for March is Reading Month?
American Sniper with Chris Kyle. Just a tremendous movie. Bradley Cooper played just a great role, and it's a great read as well. Just points to the sacrifice that our military people make. And just the tremendous talent that he was, and obviously a tragic ending the way he lost his life, but really inspiring guy.
How does the book differ from the movie? Actually, I've seen the movie, haven't read the book. So how does that differ? What do you?
there really isn't a ton of difference, really. I think when you read the book towards the end with what takes place, at the gun range,
they get a little more detailed on that. I'd assume.
Just tremendously sad that that's the way he succumbed.
Yeah. And one thing about books, and during this March is Reading Month, one thing about books I love is the fact that it's open to your interpretation as the reader. If you haven't seen the movie, you can read that book and you can imagine how he might look or what he might be doing or his experiences. And that's the good thing about books, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, students out there, March is Reading Month. The recommendation by most of our teachers in the elementary and the junior and senior high school is you read at least 20 minutes per day. I know I do. I read 20 minutes per night. I recently read a book, the autobiography of Nicholas Lidstrom, Detroit Red Wings, just came out. Excellent book. And right now I'm reading a book called I Am C-3PO by the man who actually played C-3PO.
Star Wars.
Excellent book. He describes, from the first time he saw the robot drawings to when they put him in the robot costume.
Right.
And I'm about halfway through right now, so we're about at Return of the Jedi, and he's got about 6 more movies. No, excuse me, 6 more movies to make. My Star Wars universe is all mixed up in my head.
That's a lot going on there.
Officer Gunnery, I want to thank you for coming in. Any last words for anybody out there today?
No, just want to say we miss all you kids, and we hope you're doing well, and we hope to see you soon.
I know it's probably tough because you did a lot of check-ins with students every morning. You would check in with certain students, say hi to all the teachers. So it's got to be tough not being able to do that.
Yeah, miss all the fist bumps, and we'll get back to that once the air clears.
We'll be right back with Mr. Rickert and some teacher shout-outs on Coffee with the Principal. Welcome back to Coffee with the Principal. I'm back here with my co-host, Mr. Rickert. God, you gotta love that Officer Gunnery coming in here. He's just a bright spot for our show. Really, really gets some good info out there.
Oh, he's a great guy. Great guy to have around and a good source of information for sure.
Good source. A lot of information there. So again, we'll keep you updated on some things if we get some more numbers on those. But we want to kind of turn to more of a positive thing. Our teachers and our staff here at Memphis, one of the things we love is our students. We love our students. We love our families. We miss them. I'm hearing from teachers every day how much they want to get back, how much they do miss their students, and believe it or not, they miss their teaching. They miss being there. They miss delivering instruction, and it is kind of a heartfelt thing to hear when they call to say, hey, Mr. K, can you deliver some messages for me? So today on Coffee with the Principal, in place of our questions from the audience, we're going to read a few shout outs from some of our teachers. So you can kind of hear what they're thinking right now, and they want to deliver some messages to you. They couldn't all be here today, so we do have a few shout outs, and then we'll chat a little more about some email in a bit. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Mr. Rickert, you want to go ahead and give us their first shout out?
Yeah, so the first shout out is from Miss Dana. She wants to tell her 6th and 8th grade students that she's working out all the kinks from Google Classroom, and she loves it when you guys email her, so please keep that up. She says you're doing a wonderful job with keeping up with everything.
And that's one thing that our students and community can do. They can email our teachers at any time. They love to hear from you guys, just as Miss Dana said. I know also Mrs. Smith is out there, and she's trying some new things with the Google Classroom, trying to link up with students virtually, and she says, hey, hang in there with her. She's trying out too. It's new stuff for her, so she's trying some things out.
Yeah. Hey, send me emails too. Come on, I've gotten one so far, and it was for a question that I didn't have the resources to answer. So,
well, might as well tell them your email address.
Yeah. So my email is Rickert, which is my first letter of my first name, and then my last name, Rickert, at memphisk12.org. So if you want to just check up on me and see how I'm doing, or if you have any questions about your work, I'd be more than happy to talk to you that way.
And then back to our school resource page, which is on the junior senior high school website. It is also on our Facebook and Twitter. On that school resource page, you will get a link to every teacher's email. So you can go right on there. You can click on it. You can copy and paste it from your cell phone. So you can do that. And remember, those suggested materials are just that. They're suggestions to keep your brains moving. They're not mandatory assignments for anyone because we know maybe not everybody has internet access. But you know what? If you can make it to your library, if you can borrow a friend's phone, you can get on there and take a look at that resource page.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you're doing that to keep up with everything. Other thing is, Miss Lentz wanted to remind the online students to please continue working on your classes. Those are still important credits to have that you need to get, and you can access those classes from a computer. You don't need to be in school to do those classes. So you've got probably a lot of extra time in your hands, so we would strongly suggest that you work on those.
Yeah, especially those Michigan virtual classes. Those are classes that continue virtually with teachers that are not physically in Memphis, but they are online teachers. So Mrs. Lentz and Miss Smith both want you guys to know, hey, keep working on those classes.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can email a staff member. I know I have every couple of days, I have kids that will ask me questions about their online classes. I have a couple that sometimes will do their online classes in my room, and they ask me questions, and that's how we get things done. If you're not sure about something, just email one of us, and we'll get back with you as soon as we can.
Email us. A lot of contact information on there on that resource page. Another shout out comes from our counselor, Miss Gadke. She wants to let all of our 8th through 11th graders know that scheduling information is out there. Check your emails for info on what to do. She put a whole good list in there for step-by-step how you select your classes in Skyward. This is very, very important for our students to be scheduling at this time. This is the time, if we were in school, we would be scheduling for next year's classes. She also wants to let our dual enrollment students know that check your SC4 emails for any important information from your college courses. The professors over there might email you something about, hey, something that's due or delays or postponement. So if you're a dual enrolled student, Ms. Gadke wants you to know that you got to check your SC4 email for some updated information. Ms. Gadke also wants you to know that she's checking her email daily, and if you're having any difficulties online or with anything with scheduling or support, let her know. She will help you out during this difficult time. She says, do not hesitate to reach out. Ms. Gadke, very compassionate. She wants to help, as all of our staff does at this time.
No question about that.
Another shout out comes from our band and choir director, the great Mr. Esch. Mr. Esch wants to know students, hey, as we walk through these first few days of uncertainties, he finds himself asking himself in his mind many questions. But no matter what we come to or what we face or walk through, he knows that 1, you can come out of this a better you than you were when you went in. Number 2, to choose the things that you can be thankful about. And 3, choose to love people and yourself through the crazy instead of letting fear divide. Very wise words from Mr. Esch.
Extremely wise words. Yeah, we're all a team here. It's not, I know sometimes if you're cooped up in the house with the same people, it can be a little bit frustrating. Yes. But we're all a team. We got to work through this together, and we've got to do our best to make the situation the best that we can, and we'll get through it. I have no doubt about that.
Mr. Esch also wants to conclude by letting you know that we are all human beings. He said to find something to learn and go after it during this time. You should all have your musical instruments at home, your choir music. Pop on a song on iTunes. I know Ozzy Osbourne has a new CD out there. I'm sure the kids love that. Pop on a tune, maybe a Post Malone song, something like that, and sing along with it. Play your instrument, get out there and do something you love. Mr. Esch says to use your time to enjoy learning again, and he says, let's go blue. So Mr. Esch with a good warning, a good a message out there to everybody. And I know you shook your head at let's go blue. He is referring to Memphis, though, not to those guys up in Ann Arbor.
But we're Yellow Jackets. We're not Blue Jackets.
That is true. We are Yellow Jackets. We are, one Memphis pride, one group. But we always say go blue, and I think that's a big thing for us. I know it's tough for you. I
guess in one sense it makes that phrase a little bit more easier to stomach for me. So.
If you have any questions for us, we at Coffee with the Principal are now going to open up some questions to take in questions from your email. We want you to email us. The email address that you can send questions to is mhsprincipal@memphisk12.org. Send those questions to us. We'll read them on the air next time we're on live, and we can answer some questions for you. Any kind of topics from school to community to what's going on with our lives, or if you want to check in and give a shout out to someone, send it to mhsprincipal@memphisk12.org. And in the subject line, put questions. What do you think about that, Mr. Rickert?
Sounds like a good idea.
And also, if you have questions for Officer Gunnery. You can also email the same email address, mhsprincipal@memphisk12.org. In a subject line, put Ask Gunnery.
Ooh.
And we'll ask Officer Gunnery those questions when he's here as our special guest next time on the show.
All right.
Mr. Rickert, we're about to wrap up for this special edition of Coffee with the Principal during our shutdown time. Any last words for our people out there today, our Memphis community, before we get going?
Just be smart. I see a lot of all these crazy spring break kids are down there on the beaches saying, I don't care if I get it or not. And as Mr. Gunnery was saying, Officer Gunnery was saying, you might get it and you'll be fine, but you don't want to transmit it to people. Like there's the elderly people, and then there's immunosuppressed people like me who would suffer a lot more from it. So be safe for the people that you're around and the people that you care about. Keep washing your hands. Don't spread misinformation. That's another big thing. Check your sources.
That's huge.
And just try to do your best for your physical and mental health at this time.
Well, thank you, Mr. Rickert. I appreciate you being here again with us. I thank all of you for joining us today on this special edition of Coffee with the Principal. We want you to be safe, be well, Memphis. We'll see you soon.